Hello, welcome. I'm Amy Zadelka, and this is EECO508, Learning Theory and Program Design. This is a class that bridges theory and practice. It introduces you to learning theory and asks you to engage academically with theoretical texts. And it's also highly practical in that we will spend a lot of our time designing learning experiences. If I were to summarize the class in just a few words, I would say that it assumes that designing learning experiences is a highly creative activity. And this class aims to bring together creativity and rigor. You'll be asked to think deeply and academically, and you'll also be asked to create, to engage in the design experience, and innovate new ways to engage with those you want to educate and communicate with. Before beginning, I want to say welcome to MA in Environmental Education and Communications learners, MEEC learners, and welcome to MA in Interdisciplinary Studies learners, MAIS learners. MEEC learners, you have just had an intense and amazing residency experience, and you have bonded as a group. You've also had a session with me, so you're in a slightly different position than the MAIS learners who are coming into this program as individuals and don't know you and may not know each other. What's important is that for the next 10 weeks, we come together as a single community. So MEEC learners, please make every effort to welcome your MAIS classmates. In the next few minutes, I'll begin by clarifying the expectations for week 1. And then I'll review 5 general points of awareness, things that you will benefit from being aware of as you head into the class. Let's look at what will happen in week 1. When you open your course site, you'll see that you can click on week 1 to view the expectations. On the screen here, I have the big red arrow pointing to where you want to go. Here you can see are the instructions for week 1. I'm not going to read them because you can read them yourself. What's important is that you can see that everything you need is right here, and that specifically you'll be expected to complete readings, post to 3 discussion forums, and provide feedback to your classmates in at least one of these forums. Let's look more specifically at each forum. Assuming you have done the readings, let's click on discussion number 1, which is called a powerful learning experience. In this discussion, you're being asked to reflect on a powerful experience that you have experienced and explain why it was powerful and what the experience reveals about the way you learn. The goal here is for us as a class to begin to understand you as a learner. The other goal is for you to understand yourself so that you can draw on your strengths when you are designing learning experience for others and also begin to recognize your biases. Discussion forum number 1 asked you to draw only on your personal experience. Now, forum number 2 asks you to draw on the readings as well. The goal of discussion forum number 2 is for you to begin to describe your context and approach to education and communication, but also for you to begin to make links between theory and practice. So it will be important here for you to delve into the textbook reading and take your best shot at considering what some of the theory might mean to you. Specifically, this forum asks you to describe a situation in which you typically find yourself as an educator or communicator. It asks you to describe your pedagogical approach by drawing on pages 77 to 81 of your text, and it asks you to describe what learning theories are most congruent with the way you educate by drawing on pages 82 to 86 of your text. The final discussion forum asks you to envision the future and specifically to think about what might look different in the future if you achieve your goals as an educator. There are very specific instructions for this forum, which you can read yourself. However, what I want to stress here is that you are being asked to produce some form of art, and specifically to produce a drawing. I want to stress that the quality of the drawing does not matter at all. We will be using quite a bit of art in this class. The quality of the art will never matter. You will never be assessed on that. The goal here is to use different forms of expression and also to try out different things. Now we're in the laboratory of the class, so it's a place to try things out. So if you're someone who is not comfortable with drawing, please just take your best stab at this. Or alternatively, you are welcome to create an image using pictures you find online or via another method. My point is that, yes, you are required to produce an image in response to this discussion forum, but that if you are the type of person who's uncomfortable producing art, please just be game. Show up and make an effort, and that's all I ask. When you read through the week 1 instructions, you will also notice that you are being asked to respond to at least 2 of your classmates' posts in the Discussion 2 forum by offering your insights and reflections. The reason I am asking you to engage in dialogue in this discussion forum as opposed to the others is because this discussion forum deals with learning theory and linking theory and practice. Knowing how to talk about theory and relate it to practice is a skill that takes time to develop. It's something that is expected of you as mastered students and that you get better at doing with practice. The conversation you will have in this forum is your opportunity to begin practicing this skill by talking about how the textbook theories relate to your and your classmates' experiences. You are also welcome and encouraged to comment on the other forums, on what your classmates have posted in the other forums, but it is not a requirement. The only requirement is that you respond in discussion forum number 2. Now let's talk about some general things you might benefit from knowing heading into week 1. The first key point is that you can always email or Skype me. I am a full-time faculty member at Royal Roads. Teaching this class is not the only thing I am doing, and I cannot always be available for you at the moment that you want to speak to me. That being said, you are my priority, and I will always try to be available to you as soon as possible. And if you Skype me and I do happen to be available, I will answer and speak to you right there and then when you need it. So I know that for some of you, this is your first online class. I know that some people learn better if they can talk things through. I know that some people like to have things explained in different ways. Please, I'm urging you to get in touch with me if you need anything or if you have questions. I'm always here. 2, you need to know that your first assignment is due on Sunday, September 11th. If you go to the course site and click on assignments and then go to assignment number 1, you will see precisely what is expected of you. Here it is. I'm not going to read it, but what I hope you will notice is that the assignment sheet and the assessment criteria, which are in this table at the end, are quite detailed. As we move forward, we can talk more about structure and how much structure each of you likes when engaging in class exercises and assignments. But my general approach is to be quite detailed in my guidelines because I want your creative energy to go into the work itself and not into figuring out what the expectations are. If this doesn't jive with your way of working, if you find this constricting, give it a shot, but then let's talk. I'm always open to figuring out different ways that you can meet the learning goals of the class. I recognize that having the assignment due on September 11th means that you only have 2 weeks, which does include 2 weekends, to complete. However, this is a fast-paced course, and having this assignment due early in the term means that you'll be able to get feedback from me earlier. So if there's anything that comes up, let's say in your writing, that needs to be addressed, then you will know that sooner rather than later, and we'll have sufficient time to discuss what next steps you might take. I should also mention that at RRU, in non-residency courses, instructors have 2 weeks or 10 business days to return assignments. Sometimes I need that full time. So having the assignment due at the end of week 2 means you'll get feedback latest by the end of week 4. Point number 3. There will be a full introduction to the class on Wednesday, September 6th at 6 p.m. Victoria time in the class Collaborate room. Here I will go through everything you need to know and I will answer your questions. Between now and Wednesday, September 6th, you will be active in the class, completing the week 1 and then some of the week 2 activities. So there's a period right now where I'm asking you to just start engaging in the class without me having outlined everything yet. I'm doing this because this is a fairly intricately designed class, and if I explain everything up front right now, you'll probably have a lot of questions that might just clear themselves up if you simply give the class a shot. So just start. Email me if you need me, but know that everything will be explained shortly. Significantly, the Collaborate sessions will be recorded for those who cannot make this time. Attending this session is optional. If you can't make it, no problem. You can just view the recording. Point number 4. This class is intricately designed and your engagement is critical. What do I mean by this? What I mean is that this is not the kind of class that you can jump in and out of in a lackadaisical way. This is not the kind of class where you can do the readings and then submit a paper in week 5 without showing up in between. Designing learning experiences about issues that matter. Designing a learning experience about something related to environmental education is complex, and it demands that you be creative. There's no one right way. So we will be exploring highly creative approaches, and we'll be doing this in a very structured way. My goal is to give you enough structure so that you can be creative even though you're working at a distance without feeling confused or lost in ambiguity. But this means that the class will only work if you are present and engaged. I'll give you just one minor example. As I mentioned this week in discussion forum number 3, you'll be drawing a picture of your vision for the future. You will refer back to this drawing when you do your final assignment in week 10. So I'm using this as an example to encourage you to engage with all parts of the class with as much earnestness as you can. My goal is to ensure that every element plays a role and that all the elements of the class are linked together. So I understand that sometimes we get busy and life happens and that this is normal for working adult learners. But to the best of your abilities, try to trust the process, to trust that there is a reason for why you are being asked to do certain activities, or better yet, to ask me for the rationale if you don't understand it. And try to show up, just to be here and to engage in each of the activities to the best of your abilities. Finally, I want to encourage you to view the classroom as a lab. In our jobs and in our lives, we often need to produce results. We sometimes can't experiment as much as we would like because we need to serve our employer or our students or whatever stakeholder group we're serving. This is the place where you can try things out that might be risky in your real world setting so that ultimately you can bring them into these new approaches. You can bring new approaches into your out of the class world. So please engage with openness. That's all by way of introductory remarks. I will be traveling for a conference during the first week of class. I will be in Slovenia and I will be back on September 6th. That said, I will be available via email and I will be present in the course site. Due to time differences and the fact that I will be in a conference during the day, I may not always respond immediately if you email, but as I said, you are my priority and I will get back to you as soon as you can. I look forward to the next 10 weeks. Let's have a good time and work hard and see what we come to together. I look forward to working with you.